Hello and welcome to episode 12, question and answer. It's been a little while since we've done one of these, so I thought we'd get back on the horse with a reasonably easy question from the Cast Iron Strength forums, coming from Anthony _ Drumcern. The question is, it's coming into the field work running sessions soon. I was wondering if anyone had any suggestions on calories, how many calories I should be taking on board to ensure recovery and all that jazz. I'm taking about 1400 calories a day at the minute. I use the MyFitnessPal app and the macros are usually bang on: protein 35%, fat 35%, carbs 30%. Okay, a little bit of background on Anthony from his training log. I'm just taking this out from his log on the forums. I haven't asked for any of this information. He was 92 kilos when he started posting on October the 29th, and I'm assuming I've done a few calorie calculations for you, Anthony, just to get a ballpark of where he should be sitting. So I'm assuming you lost a couple of kilos when you've training for a while. I'm just assuming you're 90. You're probably a bit less than that at the minute, I would imagine. But going off 90, here's some of the numbers we've come up with, and I'll walk you through a real simple process you do this with. Right, so your base calories, so your basic metabolic rate, that is the amount of calories it would take for you if you're lying on your ass all day doing nothing to maintain the current body weight of 90 kilos, which I've guessed, you haven't told me, would be 1980 calories a day. So if you ate that amount of calories and sat in your pants playing Tekken on PlayStation, you would stay the same weight, theoretically. It's not 100% accurate. Within a margin of error, probably 5% here or there, maybe 10% here or there. Either way, it gives you a reasonable ballpark you can work with. Then what you do is you take that number, and obviously, I assume you don't lie in your bed all day or lie in your pants wanking. And then that might put your calories up a little bit if you're wanking. I assume you're doing something else. So working and training. Reading your log, I know you do a lot of circuit training and you do weights. I know we've been doing some running conditioning, but don't know if you're continuing on with it. But basically, there's an equation. It's not really an equation. It's a multiplier. It's called the Harris-Benedict multiplier. Basically, you use that as a measure of your daily activity levels. So someone who was pretty much sedentary, worked a 9-to-5 job in an office, and went to and from the car, will time that calories by 1.2, for example. I've timed you by 1.55 as someone who's moderately active. The definitions are pretty non-specific. It's 3 to 4 times of moderate exercise a week. I know you train pretty hard, but you're eating 1400 calories, so I didn't want to bump you up too much. Basically, after I've done that equation, you're sitting at 2,964 calories for maintenance a day. I'm willing to bet it's probably a little bit high. But what we go from here is, if you're going to be going into the Gaelic season, or you're going to go into the Gaelic pre-season, or you're coming into the pre-season, assuming you're coming into the pre-season, you can't correct me if I'm wrong. If you're coming into the pre-season, then your on-feet training is going to skyrocket. You're going to be doing probably minimum 2-day field sessions. I assume that's going to involve anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes of running, or of like running and skills work. And I assume you want to train for performance. So if you want to train for performance, you're going to need sufficient calories for that. So the 2,964 would keep you at your current weight. I'm going to assume, again, just assuming, that your current weight's not your ideal weight. Bear in mind, I know you're like 175, 176 centimeters. I'm not the most muscular guy in the world, no offense, but since you only took a weight train again after a long layoff, you won't have a huge amount of muscle mass at the minute. It will come with time, of course. So I'm guessing that 90 kilos is a bit soft. So you're probably looking to lose some of that weight, and some of that weight will come off with the training. But what we do here, we just go take an arbitrary cut. I'd say run at 2,500 calories, and you say you're using your MyFitnessPal app to track your calories, which is sweet, so you'll know within a fairly decent measurement error where your calories are sitting. So if you eat 2,500 calories a day, and you eat that consistently every day for 7 days a week, and that can be made up of whatever you want. And that's a pretty good split. You've got 35% protein, 35% fat, 30% carbs. I would maybe want to see a little reduction in the fat, a little reduction in protein, and maybe slightly more carbs for Gaelic, which is a heavily running based sport. You're going to need the carbohydrate for muscle glycogen replenishment, energy levels during the day, energy levels for training. You don't want to be burst all the time, so I'd probably go for more like a 30% fat, 25% protein, and here comes the math, 45% carbs, probably be a slightly better split for someone like you. Again, I'm not a nutritionist, but that's kind of where I would hang my hat on from some nutrition I've done, which is not a degree, but I have done some nutrition to past degree level. So your macros could tweak a little bit. It's not really that much of a bother. It's more the calories are the more pertinent thing to get right. So calories are like 2,500 from there. I'll link the calculators I've used in case anyone's interested in this. Probably not the most interesting answering question I've done, but it's practical, and sometimes it's nice to have practical stuff. So 2,500 calories. After you've done your week, see where your weight lies. Take your weight in the morning. Before you eat breakfast, before you drink anything, just jump on the scales. Do that every morning. So that's the only time really. If you sleep for 8 hours and you weigh yourself first thing, bollock naked, that's the only time you're going to get like a stable measurement of your weight. Track that day on day. Keep a note of it in your MyFitnessPal app. See how it's going. You're looking realistically to lose probably about half a kilo a week. That'll give you 2 kilos a month, which will be a fairly reasonable rate. You probably find you're going to lose, well, you probably won't find you'll lose anything because you've been on 1,400 calories, but if you were going into a new diet or a new way eating, or you're going into deficit, you probably find you'll lose 2-3 kilos in the first week, water retention, whatever you want to call it, and then it'll should steady off. But about half a kilo of weight loss is about right, quarter to half a kilo, or half a pound to a pound for any Americans that are watching, is about the right level. That way you'll be able to hold on to your strength. You're fairly confident you're losing fat mass and not muscle mass. Since you only brought weight training back into your program, likelihood is you're going to still be putting on muscle mass because you're just getting back into it. So it should all be good weight you're keeping and bad weight you're losing, or fat mass. Well, fat mass is useful for some things like staying alive. Hope that's answered your questions. I've got a few questions to back up, so I'm going to hit up some of Jimmy's questions from the last couple of videos because they're pretty interesting. Tomorrow, the first PB Machine podcast is in the can, so we'll be releasing that tomorrow. Need to spruce up the website a little bit. So yeah, both in the works. Okay, until doing another one of these, or you see me again on YouTube, which should probably be tomorrow. This is Mark, castironstrength.com, signing off. Ta-ra.